If you're at the Green Line Harlem stop, you're actually not too far away from the Blue Line Forest Park stop. And if you're at the Blue Line Forest Park stop, you're pretty much right at the Prairie Path. Cut through the Concordia Cemetery, across the Des Plaines River, through Maybrook Drive, and just south of there, you'll hit the Prairie Path. This first stretch of the Prairie Path through Maywood to Bellwood is pretty much um, relatively short paths with stop signs. Most of the cars are pretty slow and keeping an eye out for bikes. So it's a pretty leisurely ride. The biggest thing is Mannheim. That's the most annoying intersection. Once you approach Elmhurst, the path turns into limestone and it also gets a lot more shaded. And specifically at Spring Road and the Prairie Path, there's a lot of really cool cafes where you can stop at and take a break. Once over at 83 at Elmhurst, I like to go either north up to Mitsuwa or west to do the Great Western Trail Triangle, but this time going south on Salt Creek, mainly because I'm not really that in shape yet. But if you've been paying attention to the news lately, all the creeks and the rivers in the Chicagoland area are flooded, and as a result, all the paths are flooded. So what I did was I took Butterfield to York to 31st to Wolf to get back onto the Salt Creek Trail. Butterfield east of Roosevelt is fine, but York and 31st and Wolf definitely don't recommend going on those streets. The streets and the drivers are just zooming past and definitely didn't feel safe. In hindsight, I probably should have gone further south on York to Canterbury and then gotten onto the Salt Creek Trail, but at that point, I was depending too much on my car driving experience to figure out where to go. This section of the Salt Creek Trail is super windy and just a lot of fun to ride through and largely uninterrupted. So there's some pretty good segments here. And some places of note, the Galloping Ghost Arcade is not too far away. That place, if you've never been, it'll blow your mind, especially if you grew up in the 80s and 90s. But once I exited out at the Brookfield Zoo, I went back onto 31st all the way to Des Plaines Avenue, and that's where we hit Riverside, Illinois. Riverside is one of my favorite spots to hang out after a leisurely ride there, especially because they have the Quincy Street Distillery. That place is definitely worth checking out. There's some cafes, some Mexican, some Italian food to stop at. But most importantly, Long Common Road on the way through to Riverside, then hit Oak Park Avenue. It's extremely leisurely. Like no matter what time of day, there's almost no traffic. And once you get back onto Oak Park Avenue, you can hit straight back to the Blue Line or the Green Line and complete your day. I hope this just encourages you to try to ride out to the burbs more often, especially if you live deep into the city. And I'll definitely post some other routes along the Prairie Path and the Great Western Trail. Happy riding!